Hi, Sweetie Pie. I'm continuing the book now called Circle. This is part 2 about the godwits, a bird which the fuller name is right in the back here. The bar-tailed godwits, Limosa laponica baueri, the bird that makes the longest unbroken journey of any animal in the world. Not just a bird, any animal in the world. Before each Arctic winter, they migrate more than 7,000 miles, which is 11,265 kilometers, from their northern home in Alaska to their southern home in Australia and New Zealand, without even stopping to rest. That is amazing. On their return to the north, the godwits need to stop and feed in the wetlands of Asia, especially those around the Yellow Sea. Wetlands are important for migrating water birds, as they provide areas where the birds can rest and find food, enabling them to complete their journeys. The Yellow Sea wetlands are rapidly disappearing as a result of land reclamation and development, and the godwits and other migrating shorebirds are finding it harder and harder to find places where they can rest and feed. The annual movements across the world of millions of birds, sea creatures, and other animals remind us that everything in nature is interdependent and connected. The changes we make on one side of the world can have consequences on another. The challenge we face now is how to live without destroying the places that are crucial to shorebirds' age-old, wondrous circle of life. I'm going to continue the book in a minute, but it's good maybe to read the author's note before we get to the end. I'm going to read this and then I'll write it in the little thing. For more information on godwits and shorebirds, you can go to www.globalflywaynetwork.com.au, www.awsg.org.au, or www.miranda-shorebird.org.nz. And then I'm going to show you, which is equally impressive, this map of the world, this sort of like a picture of the globe, to show you just how grand this circle of flight is that they take. This is Alaska, United States. This is the Yellow Sea. This is China, South Korea, and Japan over here. So they fly from here down to here, unbroken, or they have another one over here. And then from here up, either of these places they join, go up to here and up to here. This is New Zealand. This is Australia. And what it says is, May, June, godwits arrive in their breeding ground. August, they gather along the coast of the Alaskan Peninsula to fatten for the journey south, departing before winter sets in. This is the Pacific Ocean. This is New Zealand. October to November, the godwits arrive in their Australia and New Zealand feeding grounds. So that means from August to October they're in flight. That's amazing. March to April, the godwits start the journey north. April to May, the godwits stop to feed and rest, especially in the wetlands of the Yellow Sea. Other migrating creatures in this book: green turtles, great knots, Arctic tern, sandhill cranes, brent geese, caribou, short-tailed albatross, humpback whales, curlew, channel-billed cuckoo, and black-winged stilts. A lot more birds than we see at our feeders. There's a lot more birds out there than the ones that live in this region and come to backyard bird feeders. So now that we have a little more of the context of this amazing bird, that's just remarkable. We'll go back to the story. And where we left off, the little godwit had found had made a nest. He'd gotten back to the breeding ground. He'd made a nest in the ground, did his mating flights and singing loudly in the song of his species to attract a mate. He found a mate, and they had 4 chicks, and they take turns to keep them warm. A hungry fox finds the nest and won't be stopped. One chick hides, crouched and still, disappearing into the colors of the land. So we read about a fox in the other book, and this is a bit more of a serious tale and what does happen with ground nests. This is a beautiful drawing. It's so realistic. I mean, you've got the birds up here, the shoreline, the grasses, the geese, and a lot more if we look closely. I don't know the name of that. There's more shorebirds, the fox, and one of them is hiding. I'm going to hold this up to the camera to see if you can find where it's hiding. I'll have to look closely myself after I read this. Weeks passed. The chick is almost full grown, and the godwits know it's time to move on. The mother godwit leaves first. The godwit with white patches goes next. Their grown chick will follow later. It's interesting that they don't all leave together. It certainly does look like winter, doesn't it? I'm going to continue. I hear my birds. Sorry.